You finally got them into bed. The teeth are brushed, the story is read. You stand up to leave, and then the requests start. They need water. They need one more urgent hug. They need to know, with absolute seriousness, whether sharks sleep. Around the fourth interruption, you feel your chest tighten. Logic suggests that the solution is more friction, that pushing back harder, rushing through the routine, or raising your voice will finally force the child to stay in bed. This animated diagram of sleep onset times reveals how that intuition often backfires. Children who go to bed without a fight take an average of 21 minutes to fall asleep. But for resisting kids, that duration nearly doubles to 41 minutes. The harder a parent pushes, the longer falling asleep actually takes. In a 2025 study tracking hundreds of toddlers, researchers found that more than 6 in 10 of them exhibit this exact resistance on most nights of the week. This is the most common sleep behavior in early childhood. The data suggests that bedtime resistance is rarely a discipline problem. Instead, the delay appears to be driven by a specific cycle, one that parents may be inadvertently reinforcing every night. To understand why the stall continues, we have to look at a core concept in behavioral psychology: intermittent positive reinforcement. A predictable vending machine gives a soda every time. If it stops, you walk away. But a slot machine pays out unpredictably, maybe one time in 20. This wires the brain to keep pulling the lever, creating an obsession with the next potential payout. This same logic applies to a standard Tuesday night bedtime. A tired parent fields a request for water and says no. The child asks again. The parent says no more firmly. Then comes the third, tearful request. The exhausted parent finally caves and hands over the glass. In that moment, the child's brain records a specific pattern. Escalating volume and repeated asks eventually result in a payout. The system works, provided the child keeps pulling the lever. Parental exhaustion accelerates this cycle. When you have the bandwidth, you hold the line for 20 minutes. When you're drained, you cave on the first request. To a child's pattern-finding brain, this looks exactly like a slot machine. The child isn't being manipulative. They are responding to a psychological reward system that actively encourages them to stay awake and keep trying. Adenosine accumulates in the brain all day, building sleep pressure. If put to bed before this biological threshold is met, a child's brain is physically incapable of shutting down. They lie awake with a surplus of energy because the chemistry for sleep hasn't arrived. This leftover energy combines with the slot machine behavioral loop. Stalling and curtain calls become a way to pass the time until the brain is actually ready to drift off. Now, watch the effect when a parent enters the room in anger. That stress response injects cortisol into the child's system, a hormone that promotes alertness and neutralizes the effects of melatonin. Using anger to end a stall resets the biological clock. You leave the room with a child who is chemically alert and physically unable to initiate sleep. The biological fix is a concept called bedtime fading. This shifts the authority of bedtime from the clock on the wall to the child's actual physiological state. By intentionally moving the official lights-out time later until the child is genuinely sleepy, you rebuild the association between getting into bed and feeling tired. Take a look at this graphic. This is the psychological tool for breaking the slot machine effect, the bedtime pass. The mechanics are straightforward. The child receives one concrete physical token. They can trade it for a single request, a glass of water or one extra hug. Once the child surrenders the pass, the transactions for the night are finished. The pass unplugs the slot machine completely. By answering only the first request, you replace intermittent, chaotic payouts with absolute predictability. Any requests after the pass is used require a zero-input protocol. You walk into the room, take their hand, and walk them back to bed in total silence. No eye contact and no negotiation. A developing nervous system treats parental anger and excitement as input. Providing zero input starves the stalling loop of the feedback it needs to continue. Even with the system in place, there are nights when an exhausted parent snaps, raises their voice, and feels immense guilt walking away. Psychology researchers emphasize that secure attachment is built through the process of rupture and repair. The strength of the bond depends on the ability to fix emotional breaks when they happen. This repair happens the next morning. You skip the lecture about staying in bed and take ownership of the yelling. Last night, I got frustrated and I yelled. That wasn't fair to you. I love you, and I'm working on staying calm even when I'm tired. A predictable routine provides the stability a developing brain needs to feel safe. Staying calm is the biological signal that tells the child's nervous system it is finally okay to fall asleep.